Hey everybody, good morning. Day 110 of spiritual healthcare. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome. It's a very hot day here in Edmonton. I hope you guys are doing okay. Lots to talk about today in terms of, we're going to continue the conversation we were having yesterday because it was really good on fortune tellers and psychics, but we're gonna move the conversation yesterday into today in the form of what is it that is destiny when people are calling these fortune tellers and calling psychics and all of this kind of thing. They're usually looking for some form of path forward and destiny and what they're meant to do. So we're going to talk about that today, so that you guys don't have to, be calling people and calling for money and, or giving people money on the phone and that kind of stuff. So we're going to talk about today how you can deal with that and find that for yourself, and the pitfalls that we kind of run into, and why we end up doing crazy things like calling psychics and fortune tellers and all sorts of stuff like that. So it should be really good. So welcome everybody. It is good to see you all coming in this morning. As I say, lots to talk about today that I'm really stoked about, because I think I loved the conversation that we were having yesterday, and there's so much more in that we can pull from and whatnot. So good morning to all of you. Good morning, Sally. Nice to see you. Good morning to everybody. It is 10 a.m. here in Edmonton. I hope you guys are doing are having a good morning and had a really good Thursday. I had a crazy Thursday. I was drawing silly dogs for this project that I've got going right now. It's so off the wall. So I spent a chunk of my morning drawing dogs and stuff. It was pretty cool. Or a chunk of my afternoon drawing dogs and whatnot. So yeah, it's been really very strange day. Anyway, so I'm excited, as I say, to get into this conversation today, because I think we touched on some really, really good stuff yesterday. I think there's a lot of people right now that are really struggling with the idea of where do they go? What is the future going to look like going forward? And as I say, I've been getting a lot of people that have been talking about or been reaching out to things like psychics and fortune tellers and things like that, and spending a lot of money on this stuff. So we want to curb that today so that you guys can do some of this work for yourselves. Sally was saying, love the portrait that I'd posted yesterday. Yeah, so that portrait, here's the story behind that. So I have a friend by the name of Cam Wallace, and he works for the University of Alberta in the arts programs, and he paints influential people and things that mean something to him and matter to him and whatever, and influential symbols within the community and stuff like that. So anyway, it was months back. He asked if it would be okay if he could do my picture or whatever. So I said, yeah, no, go for it. Have at it. And last night he just, I guess he was just done, and he posted that, and it's absolutely phenomenal. It blew my mind, actually, the level of detail, and it's incredible. It's just incredible. It's very Mad Max. I kept referring to it as being very Mad Max because of the mask and the dust scarf and all of that kind of thing. The day that was that photo was taken, the original photo was based off of a photograph. There was heavy winds in Alberta, and when there's heavy winds in Alberta, a lot of dust gets kicked up, and it's like Burning Man. Because we're prairies, so there's a lot of dust and whatever, and so it was really dusty. It was super windy, so I had my scarf up and my mask up and all that stuff, and so that's where that came from. But I thought it was the coolest thing that he did that. So amazing artist, truly amazing artist. So good morning to Jay as well. Nice to see you. Nice to see everybody this morning. As I say, lots to discuss today about where we sort of pulled from yesterday, and I think it's so interesting because the idea that we broached yesterday was getting clear, and what getting clear actually means. And why it is so important to understand that, as we step forward, as we move forward through our experience, so many times we're looking for that outer world to show us what it is what direction we're supposed to go, where in fact what it is that when we start to take those steps, that pathway starts to light up. It's almost like you have to feed energy into the pathway through motion, like kinetic motion, in order to get those lights to start to light up. It kind of reminds me a little bit. I have a prop that's it's an LED staff, spinning staff, martial arts staff, and when you spin it, the faster you spin it, the brighter the patterns get, and the more elaborate the patterns get, the faster it goes. It's very touch sensitive. And and this is what the universe is kind of like. The more that you start to feed into it, the faster those patterns start to pick up, and the more you get out of it. So let's dive into this, because I think we've got lots to cover today. Because part of what we didn't cover yesterday was the idea that people are they phone these fortune tellers. They're looking to find out about their immediate life, whether it be their love life or their future, or their money, or their whatever. But oftentimes what they're looking for is they want to see the full vision. They want somebody to tell them this is what the vision looks like. Because they're not willing, as we talked about yesterday, to step into the process of what it is that they need to be doing. There's not enough focus, and there's sort of this attention deficit where they just get off of the focus of one thing because it doesn't happen immediately. So we covered some of that yesterday. But here's what I've noticed, and I've noticed this in the field of paranormal research, as well as just in production and in multiple other areas, and you guys have probably experienced this as well, or maybe you're the one that's actually doing this and aren't aware of it. But there's people out there who, they call these fortune tellers, and they go, okay, or these psychics, and they say, I am, I'm moving into this new job, or I'm moving into this new career, or I'm moving into this new headspace. And, people are kind of looking down on me. People are kind of looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm not fitting in, but I've got the education, and they've got all of these different qualifications. But here's the thing. You can't sit with someone who has 30 years in and get treated like an equal. You can't do it. You can't do it. And people that tend to, and I've noticed this a lot in sometimes I'll get this in lectures and stuff if I do like an academic event, especially if I'm doing this with students. Like there's a certain age level of student that does this, like just religiously, which is they bombard the conversation. And what happens is that the people that bombard the conversation end up looking stupid, because they are literally professing stuff that they have not possessed themselves. They are literally spitting this stuff out, and you'll see this with investigators and stuff like that as well, which is something, as I say, we've talked about in the past. We have to be very careful of when we're looking at for a team or something like that to help us out, is that they start to profess stuff that they don't actually possess. They've spent a couple of days taking an online course, or they've watched some TV shows, or they've done this or they've done that, but they are willing to start professing stuff that they don't actually possess themselves. They start talking about this stuff that's like way out of turn, and when the professionals sit down and start to look at it or look at this person, they might not say anything. They usually don't. They usually keep their mouth shut. But what's going through their head is this, this is ridiculous. So it's these people that go to the recital, as I say, to see the master performer, to see the person that has mastered the subject, or the instrument, or the prop, or the subject matter. And we get greatly inspired by these people because we are innately attracted to people who are masterful at what they do. And there is nothing on the planet better than going to a concert to see somebody who has mastered theater, or mastered an instrument, or going to a circus and mastered a prop, or their body, or it's incredible and it's inspiring. We want to do these things. And usually, or oftentimes, when people call into psychic hotlines and stuff like that, they've got often they have some sort of vision like that for themselves. It's like, I'm going to be a master at the piano, or I want to do these things and I don't have it yet. When will it come to me? When will I get that thing? And what they're missing, and what they often don't get, is the fact that it matters who is commanding that prop or that instrument or that, that field of research. It matters who it is. And people or instruments and subjects and, whether it be a prop or whatever it is, will not reach its full potential until the right person ends up touching it. So this is a great example of this. And as I say, you won't hear this on the psychic hotlines and the fortune tellers, because they want to tell you that you're, oh no, this is going to happen to you, or they want to give you the sugar-coated version of this. But there is no way around not going to rehearsal. There really isn't. It's, we all want to think that there's this master shortcut, but there really isn't. The purpose oftentimes is in the process. And when we can understand that the purpose is in the process, and we quit on the process, then we miss the purpose. And then we quit, and then we turn around and we say, oh, I guess that wasn't for me, or I'm bored with it, or I'm, oh well, whatever. But we miss it. We miss the fact the purpose is often in the process, and the masters understand it. And when they've got the inkling to bring something out of, or see an outcome of an instrument or a show or a prop, or a, maybe it's a lecture or a project or whatever, when they've got the ability to see beyond what that is, they will take it right from the beginning way past where it should be. I'll give you guys a great example of this. This is there's a couple of examples actually. A while back, my partner and I were reading the biography of Beethoven, and what I found so interesting about not only Beethoven but Mozart as well was the fact that both of these kids, who were, both of them allegedly had autism. They were driven very hard, especially Beethoven was driven very hard by his dad. He was kind of the tiger parenting, and whatever. But what was interesting was that this was the area and the era of when the piano was first being built. So this was an instrument nobody had seen before. Everybody was like playing around on the harpsichord, and the piano was like this brand new thing for people. They had no idea what it was. And what was cool was that everybody was kind of like getting used to it, but playing at this certain level. And Beethoven, even at his young age, because he was just a kid, saw past the way that people were playing the piano, and he was like, no, you guys have it. You guys aren't playing it the way it could be played. And he ended up just starting to run with it, and his dad was mad as hell at him. Mad as hell, because he was like, you are not going to get a job playing the piano like this. This is ridiculous. You take the music that you're given and you just play that well, and then you'll get a good job in in the government, playing at galas and all that stuff. Just play what you're freaking told. And Beethoven basically said, no, you're not getting this. Like, you're so not getting this. Like, the piano can go further. So he started writing his own stuff, which pissed his dad right off. And, but he ended up creating this brand new way to play the piano, which is now, of course, worldwide accepted, and it's still considered incredible. But there's this thing where it takes the right person to be able to see past what everybody has deemed as the potential for the growth of whatever this thing is. And usually, as much as the psychics and the fortune tellers, they want to sugarcoat all of this, there are keys to why certain people are able to get where they are, and what they're able to do. And everybody has got it in them. Everybody, and it's probably not over the piano. It's definitely not over the piano for me. I can play, but I am not Mozart. I'm not Mozart. Hell, I'm not even my partner is an amazing musician. He's like a credible jazz musician. It's crazy. Like watching him on the piano was just insane. But it's really fascinating, but it takes the right person, and the person who knows how to pull the most out of it. So we have to understand that even when we're dealing with things like, pianos, whether it be, instruments or writing a book or whatever that is, whatever your project is. And we look at all these people around us that are at various levels, right? They're at various levels. It's the same damn instrument, right? The person who wrote the book, who is like a bestseller, is the same instrument and use the same tools as the person who's just getting started. It's all the same tools. It's just you're leveling it at different energies. You are bringing, you're playing it at different levels, and that's all it is. But it's the same tools. So we can even take this in the form of mediums and stuff like that, right? Where some people you'll see, at a certain level in mediumship, where they're, maybe they're channeling stuff that's not so great, or they're channeling, maybe they're channeling pure positive energy, and they're getting a lot of success, and everything's been just, the messages that they're getting are wonderful. It's the same energy, but they're playing it at different levels. So we have to be able to understand that what ultimately comes from this is focus. And what you start, wherever you start, Source will turn it into where you're going. But you have to be able to stick with that process. And so many people that end up, as I say, phoning these fortune tellers, they call them and they give them all their money. And they want some sort of easy get around, an easy process, or, they want to be told that, all they have to do is just wait on it and it's going to show up. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. And when we maximize what we've got, that's when you get to sit with the masters. That's when you get to sit with someone of 30 years in and start to get treated like an equal. It's really true. Shadow saying it's more like a playground. Some people do gymnastics on the monkey bars, and some of us can only use the swings and sometimes fall off. Yeah. And it's like, but there's the thing too. If you spend the time on the monkey bars, then you've got the potential to become that monkey, or you turn around and you end up finding that you're seeing past what the gym actually is and turn it into something different. So the big question becomes, how do you take what you have and make it fit into the overall picture? So you can master what you've got, because here's the next part that the fortune tellers won't prophesize for you. Because we all want to kind of be that master or be the star of the show or be recognized for something. But here's the thing. You have to figure out, it's like an orchestra, or like a circus. In my case, it was circus performing and stuff like that, because I did a lot of that with fire eating and fire breathing and stuff like that. How do you take what you've mastered and fit it into the big picture? And it doesn't mean to fit in the sense of you're going to step in and lose yourself in something else or somebody else's vision, because that's different. But unless you can get into that bigger picture and make it work for whether it be a greater purpose, whether it be a whole, whether it be whatever it is for you. If say, for example, the pianist cannot fit themselves into an orchestra or into that orchestra or work with other people to get you where you want to go, then you're not going to get very far. If you can get where you are by yourself, you're not dreaming big enough. You're just not. You have to have other people around you that can see the vision. And you have to be able to take what you have mastered and be able to work it in with other people, with other projects, so that you can turn around and utilize that to get yourself to the next level, and allow them to get you to the next level as well. This is something that I learned very early on, especially in the paranormal field, and as well as in just production in general, is that if you can't be able to step into and say, look, this is who I am, this is what I've got, this is what I have to offer, man, let me tell you, if you end up, if you can't do that, if you can't fit it into that picture, then that's going to be a really big problem. You're not going to move to where you need to be. So how do you take what you've developed and let it fit in? One of the ways to do that is realizing that a true master of whatever you've accomplished, whatever arena it is, this is another tidbit that fortune tellers won't let you in on. They let others shine also. And this is a really big one, because you don't see, oftentimes we don't see that, because we'll see the person on the stage under the spotlight, doing the concert or doing whatever they're doing, and doing it masterfully, and everybody's applauding for them, and they're getting that crowd esteem that we talked about yesterday. And what they don't realize is that a true master really does let other people shine as well. And this is something that so many people miss. And we have to start to realize that when you let other people shine, the universe ends up, it's like a mirror. If you can appreciate other people shining, then you end up getting more of that. You end up getting more of that back. You let that in. And as soon as you get kicked into being angry at that person or anything like that, then you end up immediately falling into a place where you're just not letting that in for yourself. It's not good. One of the main reasons that I've noticed that people go to fortune tellers over this subject, and this I think is a really important one, is the fact that people fail to understand how to define themselves. And when we're turning around and getting into a space where we fail to define ourselves, if we lose the job, and you've identified through that job, for instance, a lot of people of the baby boomer generation oftentimes will really run into this. They lose themselves as soon as they lose the job, or they lose the house, or they lose the clothes, or they lose whatever it is. And because they have not taken the time to self-identify and define themselves in a good way, they will end up looking to other people, whether it be psychics or the Ouija board or the, whatever it is, to try to figure out who it is that they are. They're looking for someone to tell them who it is that they are. And this becomes a real problem, because when the wrong people are around you, here's where this starts to really suck. When the wrong people are around you, they will tell you who you are, and it's not pretty. They will take the opportunity, because here's the thing with toxic people. When you've got toxic people around you and they know that you don't know who you are, they will gladly fill that in for you. And they will make sure that it's somebody that they can control. They will make sure that it is somebody that has low self-esteem. They will make sure that there's sabotage there. They will make sure, it's just crazy. We really have to be very careful about who we are allowing into our experience, especially when we're in this transition stage, because this transition stage is so important. And to have the right people around us, it is absolutely really crucial. Sometimes when we're left to our own devices and our own head, because we don't have that extra input coming in, and the people around us to tell us the things that we're, or the right people around us to tell us those things, we can get lost in the dialogue of toxic people and our own toxic dialogue and not even know it. So we have to reinvent ourselves into a higher version of who we are at our core, rather than be basing it off of the things that people are implying, or a standard that doesn't fit the level of excellence that we need to acquire. I think so many times, not enough of us have a thing in our experience, whatever it is, a thing in our experience where excellence is required rather than mediocrity. And as I say, we tend to look for things. We look for people to tell us those things because we don't think we can find them for ourselves. But it literally cannot come from. It literally can't come from some random person on the phone that you're paying to tell you what you want to hear. It just doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. So yeah. So I hope that is helpful today as we roll into our weekend. But I've got a really great segment today from Faith in the Valley that I wanted to read to you guys. It was really, really good. So I want you to check this out because I think this is relevant for today. So check this out. Many of us are so focused on the outcome that we miss the joy of the task. Is it meant for us to live frantically in order to accomplish as much as we possibly can, as fast as we can, before we die? Or are we meant to live simply, slowly, enjoying every task and experience until we die? In other words, are we living to die, or are we dying because we don't live? If your life is feverishly frantic, confusing, complicated, overwhelming, burdened, you better slow down because there's something you're missing. If you don't have time to do the things you love, well, the things you spend your time on make you feel and act unloving, slow down. There's something you're missing. If you have so much to do that you have nothing to look forward to but more doing, you had better slow down because there is definitely something you're missing. When you move too fast, doing too much, you missed the moment by moment, day by day joy associated with being alive. Understand that you don't have to run around trying to make a good life. The goodness of life is right where you are, but you have to slow down in order to recognize it. Super true. And it's right on as I say, right on point for today because when we're attending the rehearsals, because that's what she's talking about. When we're attending the rehearsals and we're showing up and we are being present and be willing to do the work on what it is that we love to do, then the recital will happen because it has to. But we got to put one foot in front of the other. And, so many of these, as I say, psychic hotlines, they want to tell us that all of this stuff is just going to, poof. They just want to tell us poof that it's going to just show up and whatever, and it's just it's not like that. Our steps forward and our direction is what gives the universe its marching orders, and it goes, all right, let's do this, let's make this happen, and it does, and it absolutely does. It is incredible the amount of stuff that is just on your doorstep that you have no idea. Experiences, opportunities, people, money, everything, paranormal experiences, like non-physical stuff, everything. It's like it's right there, but people just don't want to, start moving forward. And as I was saying yesterday, something to keep in mind is like, when people get stuck and they think, well, okay, well, nothing's happening for me, we have to remember that depending on the strength of the momentum that you've got going, if you've got a pendulum that's swinging this fast, then we've got to remember that ultimately you're going to have something and make a change that's going to be pretty big energetically to get that pendulum going in a different direction. So got to keep that in mind. Dawn is saying, thank you for the daily enlightenment, blessings, and have a wonderful day. Thank you so much, Dawn. I so appreciate that. I so appreciate that. I so appreciate all of you guys. Let's do our affirmations before we go. So everyone take a breath. I'm a channel of peace and well-being, and my need for peace is abundantly met. I unconditionally accept, love, and appreciate myself and who I am. I recognize and am grateful for the abundance that is constantly flowing into my life, which I can choose to allow or not. I feel with every breath a sense of peace and love. I help others by maintaining and tending to my connection with Source as much as possible. This well-being is accessible to me, even in a sea of uncertainty. And at this moment, all is well. I'm able to liberate myself from my past and live with peace and serenity. I can see and appreciate all the beauty and abundance of the life around me. I'm able to embrace love while letting go of fear. And I find peace with the soothing silence of my inner being. And everybody take a breath. Thank you guys for our Friday spiritual healthcare Friday morning. I hope you guys have an amazing Friday, and I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. We'll be back on Monday, spiritual healthcare day 111. 111. The numbers are lining up now. Look at that. Have an amazing weekend, you guys. And if you want to catch up on past classes, you can go to entityseeker.ca, as well as youtube.com/entityseeker. On the YouTube channel, there is my new video. For those of you guys who haven't seen it yet, my partner and I did a really awesome fire video for one of his songs, Big Town Boy, and it went really, really well. The Catalyst production was behind it, and we had a blast filming it. It was really great. So it is on YouTube, so you guys can check that out, and I will see you guys on Monday. Okay, bye everyone.